Good evening and good morning and good afternoon. We will start with the reading and reflection session. So, as we begin, in gathering ourselves, being grateful for this opportunity to learn maybe something new and hopefully to incorporate it in our lives, invoking Sri Aurobindo and Mother's grace and presence as we begin with another session. Aspiring for flexibility, receptivity, will, courage, faith, and love. Thank you. So, if there's anything we want to share, please we can share right now. And then we also have, of course, the renunciation from Synthesis of Yoga that we'll be taking up in the remainder of the time. So, I don't know if Shilpa had shared something on WhatsApp. I just check. Yeah. Charuji, you have anything you would like to share?
Yeah, I want to read from a book, Garland of Adoration. This is really beautiful. It was very touching for me. So it's just one page. This one, I will read it for you.
Okay, thank you.
It says, a tribute. Can you hear me? My voice is very low.
No, it's perfect for me.
It's
Yeah.
okay. So you stood in grandeur, somber, austere, still, a little pale and worn out, but majestic like our master. Oh, what a joy it must have been! What a thrill when he touched you for the first time. Did you ever imagine, even in a dream, that the master of the universe would come one day and you would serve him? What a splendid fate! What, what did you feel when his gaze caressed you? An inner joy indeed. And when he opened your doors and searched for something, opened this drawer or another, surely you must have pushed the object forward into his hands, so that he might not have to search. Didn't he look surprised and smiled his beautiful smile? Weren't you proud of your service? Indeed, how could you not be? And when he wrote his immortal works, sitting in the same room, the same vibrating with his thoughts, you must have felt that vibration and tried to respond in your own way. What a splendid life! And then one day he left the Shankar Chetty's house. Were you sad? No, never. How could you be? You had also become a yogi in your attitude. You just stayed in that house, still in meditation, doing your own sadhana, whereas other objects used by him went pell-mell here and there. Then, when his 75th anniversary of coming to Pondi was celebrated, you looked out with eagerness for some old, unfamiliar faces, his associates. Oh, how can that be? We are human beings. We serve him and pass away to come back again in new forms. Not like you, solid and firm in faith and body. Perhaps you grew a little weary, perhaps not. Years passed, you remain in the same house as a centennial to his memory. His 85th anniversary of arrival passed quietly, and lo, here you are in his ashram's main building, solid, majestic, ready to serve him again. Men will come and go, but you will go on in your service to him, the great Lord. Of the almirah used by Sri Aurobindo when he came to Pondicherry and stayed in the Shankar Chetty's house. I read that, and I felt so happy, and tears were just rolling out of my eyes. I thought I will share this with you all. So beautiful.
Yeah. What is
Thank
this?
you.
What is the source and what is this book?
This book is, see, The Garland of Adoration by
Okay.
Krishna Chakravarti.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so it starts with this, then it goes to morning sun and Savitri.
Okay.
Each page has one, object. It was
Okay.
so beautiful.
Yeah. And what did you find most beautiful in the sharing that you just did? What did you resonate with the most?
Because when Sri Aurobindo was searching for something, and it says that you pulled out that thing for, to his hand. It was so touching for me. See, the Lord of Lords is coming and touching the Almera. I could visualize. It was so touching. I started, crying. I couldn't control. Yeah. So I've read some 2, 3 times, and each time I read, I could see Sri Aurobindo there.
Mm.
That's why I thought I would share.
Yeah. There's this beautiful book that Monica had shared maybe a few months back, maybe 6 months back, An Extraordinary Girl. I don't know. In that too, I don't know. You know how usually we say that mother feels very close, and Sri Aurobindo is out there and exclusive. I don't know, like inclusive, exclusive, whatever the word is. But that book really has that potential of us realizing that how close he can be if we want that closeness. Like that girl Isha, she would just call him and he would be like, she would be like, you're a window, and he'd be like, yes, in Bengali. So it's very beautiful, that key. So that too has the same essence of unreality, and somehow I don't know, my perception of him and my approach towards him, kind of just shifted and melted, and a greater reality of his being I was exposed to. So I would highly recommend that one as well. Yeah.
So beautiful. Thank you, Tarun.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So is there any other sharing? Vishal, did you have anything today from the essays of Gita you had wanted to share? But I don't know if you would want to share today or some other day.
Yeah, sorry, I'm still outside. I haven't reached back. Uh, Actually, I did, and Shardadi, that was very beautiful. Sorry, I'm walking a little fast, so I'm out of breath. Yeah, that service. When you read, and even the objects that they have touched, right? Uh, and just always there, right? Like just and that is that reminded me the end when Shrivandu, I think what is the gesture of he of endearment for Champaklal, when he was leaving his body, right? It was very beautiful. It's like, I mean, so if you just see his service, I mean, just there all the time, right? That's such a beautiful thing. And Shivandu, generally uh, not for outward gestures so much, but even there, he I don't know if maybe somebody remembers. Did he? Uh, what did he? There was a. I don't know if he. I don't think he patted him or something, but something he did right before he left his body, especially for Champakla. I was kind of reminded of that. Um, but what I wanted to, if we have time, I was recommending that we, have passages in essays on the Gita. Have anybody read that? So there is one, Taru, that is, it's called the purpose. So if you go to essays on the Gita in Incarnate Word, and I'll tell you which para it is. It is the purpose of Avatarhood. Very beautiful. You can just go to collected works and you'll see it. Yes, that one. The possibility and purpose of. Let's go to that point. And then, if you scroll down, keep going, scroll. Oh, no, no, actually, I think you passed it here. Okay. So go back, sorry. Yes, slowly. Yes, this one, this one. Okay, so just go to the beginning of it. Yeah, this is really beautiful. Okay, so Sri Krishna explains the purpose of Avatarhood, and he explains it so beautifully. This book is just an absolute gem. I don't think there is any. It's unparalleled in the commentary on the Gita. So I thought maybe we can just read this one. These, I think it's like 3 paragraphs. It's a little bit long, but I think that was what I wanted to. And there are different. Of course, one can take a full reading of the book, but that is going to take maybe more time. So I just picked this passage. I said we can start with this, and then maybe if it people are interested, we can pick other passages. In like how you pick from synthesis.
Yeah. Anytime we can, whenever you want to share, like every time, maybe you can pick up something and we can read every time a little bit from this. That would be a great idea. So,
Yeah.
should we begin?
Yes.
Yeah. So, would you like to start with the reading and then one of us can take over, or should somebody else start?
Yeah. Can you start and then I will do the next one.
Okay. Yeah. Charuji, would you like to read? Okay.
That the Gita contains as its kernel the second and real object of the avatarhood is evident even from the passage by itself rightly considered. But it becomes much clearer if we take it not by itself, always the wrong way to deal with the text of the Gita, but in its right close and with the whole teaching. We have to remember and take together its doctrine of the one self in all, of the Godhead seated in the heart of every creature. Its teaching about relations between creator and his creation. It strongly emphasized idea of the vibhuti, nothing to the language in which the teacher gives his own divine example of selfless works, which applies equally to the human Krishna and the divine Lord of the worlds, and giving their due weight to such passages as that in the 9th chapter. Deluded minds despise me lodged in the human body, because they know not my supreme nature of being, Lord of all existences. And we have to read in the light of these ideas this passage we find before us and its declaration that by the knowledge of his divine birth and divine works, men come to the divine, and by becoming full of him, and even as he and taking refuge in him, they arrive at his nature and status of beings. Madbhava. For then we shall understand the divine birth and its object not as an isolated and miraculous phenomenon, but in its proper place in the whole scheme of the world manifestation. Without that, we cannot arrive at its divine mystery, but they shall either scout it together or accept ignorantly, and it may be superstitiously, or fall into the petty and superficial. One minute. Sorry, it's not coming for me. Yeah. Or fall into the petty and superficial ideas of the modern mind by which it loses all its inner and helpful significance. Shall I continue?
I can read if you want.
Or we'll reflect and we'll take it.
Yeah, we can do that too. There's, I think, two more passages.
Yeah, we are reflecting first, right? That's what you said? Yeah, okay.
In that line where he says, "For then we shall understand the divine birth and its object, not," because he'll expand on this, "not as an isolated and miraculous phenomena." You know, this is the basic, at least in India, we take this very, but its proper place in the whole scheme of world manifestation. Without that, we cannot arrive at its divine mystery. So you have to understand that why is the divine birth? What is its object? Is it just some miracle? Is it just some miracle? No, vehemently he says, no, that is not true. But shall either scout it altogether or accept it ignorantly. So this is the modern mind that, basically it's not helpful and you don't understand the significance of it.
Should we
Maybe
move
we can
forward?
continue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can read this.
Okay.
For the modern mind, avatarhood is one of the most difficult to accept or to understand of all the ideas that are streaming in from the East upon the rationalized human consciousness. It is apt to take it at the best for a mere figure for some high manifestation of human power, character, genius, great work done for the world or in the world, and at the worst regard it as a superstition, to the to the heathen a foolishness, and to the Greeks a stumbling block. The materialist necessarily cannot even look at it, since he does not believe in God. To the rationalist or the deist, it is a folly and a thing of derision. To be thoroughgoing to the thoroughgoing dualist, who sees an unbridgeable gulf between the human and the divine nature, it sounds like a blasphemy. The rationalist objects that if God exists, he is extra cosmic or super cosmic, does not intervene in the affairs of the world, but allows them to be governed by a fixed machinery of law. He is, in fact, a sort of far off constitutional monarch or spiritual king log. At the best, an indifferent, inactive spirit behind the activity of nature, like some generalized or abstract witness Purusha of the Sankhyas. He is pure spirit and and cannot put on a body infinite and cannot be finite as the human being is finite. The ever unborn creator and cannot be the creature born into the world. These things are impossible even to his absolute omnipotence. To these objections, the thoroughgoing dualist would add that God is in his person, his role, and his nature, different and separate from man. The perfect cannot put on human perfections. The unborn personal God cannot be born as a human personality. The ruler of the worlds cannot be limited in a nature bound human action and in a perishable human body. These objections, so formidable at first sight to the reason, seem to have been present to the mind of the teacher in the Gita when he says that although the divine is unborn, imperishable in his self existence, the Lord of all beings, yet he assumes birth by a supreme resort to the action of his nature and by the force of his self Maya. That he whom the deluded despise becomes lodged in a human body is verily in his supreme being the Lord of all. That he is in the action of divine consciousness, the creator of the fourfold law and the doer of the works of the world, and at the same time in the silence of the divine consciousness, the impartial witness of the works of his own nature. For he is always beyond both the silence and the action, the supreme Purushottama. And the Gita is able to meet all these oppositions and to reconcile all these contraries because it starts from the Vedantic view of existence of God and the universe. Taru, just go down. Sorry, I think I came too high. I wanted to go to specifically a different. Keep going. Just you started too early. This is the end? Okay. And this is the purpose of Avatarhood, right? The possibility and purpose, right? That's the chapter you're reading, right? Yeah, that's the
Is
right
there
one.
any specific word that I should look for,
So
maybe?
search for Buddhahood. Search for Buddhahood in this page. Yes, this okay. So let's read this one passage, okay? I think, and if this, why don't you read this and then we will reflect.
Okay. If there were not this rising of man into the Godhead to be helped by the descent of God into humanity, avatarhood for the sake of the dharma would be an odious phenomenon, since mere right, mere justice, or standards of virtue can always be upheld by the divine omnipotence through its ordinary means by great men or great movements, by the life and work of sages and kings and religious teachers without any actual incarnation. The avatar comes as the manifestation of the divine nature in the human nature, the apocalypse of its Christhood, Krishnahood, Buddhahood, in order that the human nature may be molding its principle through thought, feeling, action, being on the lines of that Christhood, Krishnahood, Buddhahood, transfigure itself into the divine. The law, the dharma, which the avatar establishes, is given for the purpose chiefly. The Christ, Krishna, Buddha stands in its center as the gate. He makes through himself the way men shall follow. He makes through himself the way men shall follow. That is why each incarnation holds before men his own example and declares of himself that he is the way and the gate. He declares too the oneness of his humanity with the divine being, declares that the Son of Man and the Father above from whom he has descended are one. The Krishna in the human body, Manushyam Tanum Astritam, and the Supreme Lord and Friend of all creatures are but two revelations of the same divine Purushottam, revealed there in his own being, revealed here in the type of humanity.
Yeah, we can pause there. So this, is we had like a lot of discussion on this in our own center here. It's very beautiful because he so clearly he explains. So if you see the first few sentences, he said Avatarhood, because that is like the general conception, right? He comes down, there is a rising of evil, and then the avatar comes and he just gets rid of all evil. And I mean, if you think about it, also it's very childish, this notion, right? I mean, actually, like as like many things in our understanding, they're very childish. The way we understand karma, oh, you've given out, you've done something bad, so now you're getting punished. As if God is like giving out candy and beating you with sticks. I mean, it seems almost humorous actually. And then so he says avatarhood for the sake of the dharma. If it was just to do that, right? It would be an OTO's phenomenon. Since for mere right, I mean, he could just send some, great vibhuti or whatever. What is the need to for himself to come down? When you say the divine himself is coming down, what is the need? Is it just to kill somebody or get rid of? No, that cannot be the reason. So he says the avatar comes as a manifestation of the divine nature in human nature. The apocalypse, the like of its Christhood, Krishnahood, Buddhahood. So that is the real essence. When Christ came, he basically, Shubhendu says, he humanized Europe, right? His whole teaching is a teaching of love. So each one comes, uses his own example, and says, "You can be like me." He shows by his own life that you can be like him, and in that he moves humanity to a different level of consciousness. When Rama came, and actually Shubhendu says this, that in the Indian uh, nine avatars, it's actually, if you look at it deeply, it is a it is basically each avatar is evolving man into a higher consciousness. So we say like Rama came, he evolved into the consciousness of the mind, right? It was very, dharma. Then, uh, Krishna comes and he says, actually, it's a very interesting, right? Krishna comes and says, abandon all dharma. I mean, he actually, says something completely contrary to Rama, right? So, but then that is because it's a higher consciousness. It's not like there is an opposition. That was the consciousness at that time. Then Krishna came. It was, the called the Anandamai, right? So that is, and now Shivandu comes and he is given us this, this vision that he has realized himself, and he's saying, "Hey, this is possible for all of us." So that is, so beautiful. It just takes a different meaning on the sense of, why we have this concept of avatar. Any other thoughts? I think there may be one more paragraph,
So,
but that was one of the beautiful ones.
is there a specific word I should look for the next one?
Uh, no, I think that's okay. I think this is where we read, right?
Yeah,
So we started with this. I think we went a little bit higher. And if you
right.
go behind this, look, I just wanted to see, like, what did he say? Yeah, here he just expands, basically it's saying that, um, I think, what is this mystery? What is this mystery of, the avatar? Um, and he questions the superficial understanding. So I think it's okay. I think we can just pause there. Because he says that this, he says something like this double aspect of avatarhood. We kind of see it in the very, surface kind of thing, and which is still the prevalent thinking. And another, I think something that uh, just bears some reflection is many times people, in fact, Shubhanda himself would get questioned, oh, but this, for you and for mother is very easy. What you haven't, you don't feel what we feel, and, you are, born with all this, divine, I mean, if you basically you say, okay, an avatar, why he should have all these? But no, they're very real, right? He explains that. He says they are very real. It cannot be otherwise. Otherwise, it's a beautiful passage actually. I'll try to find that. He says, otherwise, it would be absolutely meaningless to you. If I came and just said, oh well, this just waved a magic wand and everything just happened. No, they have to take on all the problems exactly like we do. But yes, I mean they've come, and so they will uh, obviously triumph. The point is, but that does not change the fact that it is very real. It is as real for them as it is as we feel. So to think that it's not just because they are divine avatars that it's not. I mean that is also a very big misunderstanding.
Oh, thank you. So being human, like first they become humanity. Like first they experience the being human fully, and then they show that how being here also, I'm still transcended. I can still overcome. When you were sharing, how for Ram, it is said that when he was, when Sita was taken and he was waiting, say, for uh, Sugriv to get over his thing he was, enjoying in his castle after reclaiming the kinghood and stuff. So there was this thing I'd heard, I don't know where and when, that the rains had come and gone. Like there was a season, 3 months, 4 months, I think, season of rain. But Ram would not stop crying, for his love of Sita. That so he had to feel that fully. And it obviously wasn't just a play, like, while he was in the body as that role. So yeah, thank you.
And that book, sorry, digressing, Taru, that book is really beautiful, that extraordinary girl.
Mm.
I mean, we can even take some snippets from that if you like something really. I was rereading, I read somewhere Monica posted, and then I read again just last few days. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, really beautiful. And I don't know, I think it was from there only. There's this one line that I don't know, it was her or it was for mother. I forget where Sri Aurobindo, I think it was from mother's prayer and meditation, maybe. Sorry. That lose not courage, be firm, I come. Just like Sri
Mm,
Aurobindo is saying that be
mm.
stable, I come. Like it's so powerful. It's so, yeah,
Yeah, but the way she's communicating with him, my God,
yeah,
it is just incredible.
yeah,
And like you said, right, key, and he just like he's there,
yeah,
such a
yeah,
personal interaction. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So she was supposed to be Mrinalini Devi's reincarnation. I don't know if you would know that, but
Oh
yeah.
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So she
I
that yeah, that's
see.
why he
Okay.
had that specific thing for her and that feeling of protection
Ah,
and yeah. So that's the
oh,
background.
interesting.
Yeah.
I see.
Mm. Okay.
Mm,
Any
thank you.
any more sharings, any reflections on this or anything else? Otherwise, we'll take renunciation now.
Yeah, and if you know, uh, I mean, is that okay to take like certain passages from different books? You think? I mean, for reflections,
Yeah,
or
that's the
do we want to?
purpose. That's the purpose.
Okay,
Like, yeah. So, whatever, like, it's like because we all can't read everything, right? And we all are
right,
reading
right.
different things. So, sharing what we like most. So, from absolute varied sources, from any master and mystic, anything that we resonated
Okay,
with, we
okay.
can share. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to ask because sometimes people like to read about like extraordinary girl, stories like of disciples. Uh, but this one, like, I mean, there are many gems from even collected works, right? And Shimando's writings that we can all pick also. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we were reading the chapter Renunciation. However much time is left, we fill it with, like, we take this up. Chapter 5, Renunciation, Synthesis of Yoga. And so we had read a few paragraphs, not much, but we were supposed to start from here, but we'll just take a little bit of recap. So maybe we can start from here. And this we had already done, but just as a recap, and then we'll start from but most of all. So if somebody has a capacity, they can read, otherwise, I'll take it up. Yeah, I'll read. If the world is ruled by the flesh and the devil, all the more reason that the children of immortality should be here to conquer it for God and the Spirit. If life is an insanity, then there are so many million souls to whom there must be brought the light of divine reason. If a dream, yet is it real within itself to so many dreamers who must be brought either to dream nobler dreams or to awaken, or if a lie, then the truth has to be given to the deluded. Nor if it be said that only by the luminous example of escape from the world can we help the world, shall we accept that dogma, since the contrary example of great avatars is there to show that not only by rejecting the life of the world as it is can be helped, but also and more by accepting and uplifting it. And if it is a play of the all existence, then we may well consent to play out our part in it with grace and courage. Well, take delight in the game along with our divine playmate. So take delight in the game along with our divine playmate. So here Sri Aurobindo had mentioned that why we should not shun, why, the old approach of renunciation where it meant that just let go, just you come out of it, would not work for a sadhak of integral yoga because that is not an integral approach. So this was last time, and now we'll take it up. So starting from here. So, but most of all, the view we have taken of the world forbids the renunciation of world existence so long as we can be anything to God and man in their working out of its purposes. We regard the world not as an invention of the devil or a self delusion of the soul, but as a manifestation of the divine, although as yet a partial, because a progressive and evolutionary manifestation. So here he's saying that, the older view that we had covered up before was about it's not good. So let's just renunciate. It's not, it's an invention of the devil or it's a self delusion of the soul. So we don't have to participate in it. Shunning it altogether is the key. But here he is saying, but we regard the world not as that, but as a manifestation of the divine, although as we know, as yet a partial, because a progressive and evolutionary manifestation. Therefore, for us, renunciation of life cannot be the goal of life, nor rejection of the world, the object for which the world was created. So, if all we had to do was enunciate or reject, why was the world created? So, we seek to realize our unity with God, but for us, that realization involves a complete and absolute recognition of our unity with man, and we cannot cut the two asunder. We cannot divide them. We cannot say this is separate, that is separate. The unity has to be there. To use Christian language, the Son of God is also the Son of Man, and both elements are necessary to the complete Christhood. Or, to use an Indian form of thought, the divine Narayana, of whom the universe is only one ray, is revealed and fulfilled in man. The complete man is Nar Narayan, and in that completeness, he symbolizes the supreme mystery of existence. This is extremely beautifully put. So, stopping for any reflection before I take up the next passage. So again, just he's talking about renunciation and how shunning of it does not make sense for the one who wants to understand it and develop it fully. Okay, it's very simple. Taking up the next one. Therefore, renunciation must be for us merely an instrument and not an object. Nor can it be the only or the chief instrument, since our object is the fulfillment of the divine in the human being. A positive aim which cannot be reached by negative means. You know how renunciation is considered as a negation, and yet how
Daru,
can
I'm still seeing the old. I don't know if are people seeing the new sharing. Or I'm not.
No, even I'm not able to see. It's old sharing only. Yeah.
soul sharing as in yours? Uh,
Yeah, the Avatarhood is still being on the.
oh, that's weird. I wish you had told me
Yeah, I know. I
sooner.
just like looked at. I'm like, wait a minute. This is not tying with what you're saying. Sorry.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
this
know.
is better.
Yeah, okay. I guess
This is
I should
better.
every time stop and reshare just to be sure.
I think you're right. Yeah, better.
Yeah,
Okay, but we followed. I think that's
yeah.
okay.
Thank you for letting me know. So I'll just read this passage, this part again. We are on this passage now. Therefore, renunciation must be for us merely an instrument and not an object, nor can it be the only or the chief instrument, since our object is the fulfillment of the divine in the human being, a positive aim which cannot be reached by negative means. The negative means can only be for the removal of that which stands in the way of positive fulfillment. So I felt this was really important. How some of, we could believe that it's all just about rejection, 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 giving it up. And yet it cannot be because it's towards something, it has a positive aim. But the negative can help in removal of that which stands in way of the positive fulfillment. So if something stops me, so you know how it's said that we have to say get over or shun the desire soul, for example. So why do we have to do that? Because that comes in the way of us being who we truly are. So for that, the negation, the negative, the renunciation has a purpose, but it's not a goal in itself. So it must be a renunciation, a complete renunciation of all that is other than and opposed to the divine self-fulfillment, and a progressive renunciation of all that that is a lesser or only a partial achievement. So, whatever opposes the divine self fulfillment and a progressive renunciation of all that, that is a lesser or only a partial achievement. So, Vishal, what you had just shared about the avatars, right? That how what Krishna said could seem to be the opposite of what Ram was preaching. And yet, that's not the case, right? So, anything, it's a
Mm.
progressive thing. And yeah,
Mm.
how everything adds up, it's amazing.
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking it's somewhat related to what we just read earlier.
Mm.
Yeah, another thought that came is that we hear, many uh, teachers and students have pursued, say neti neti, uh, not this, not this, in very uh, popular way. A lot of great teachers have taught that. And of course, you can say the other also, iti, iti, this too, which I find more beautiful. But as you said, when you do neti neti, you say not this, right? There is a rejection that, and it is helpful because I think it's like how mother says, step back, right? When you step back from the surface consciousness and you say, this emotion is not me, this thought is not me, right? There is a power in that, no doubt about it. But I think what you said that at the end, it's very beautiful that, but the object is a positive thing. It is not a negative thing. You say you just like, you can say not this, and then, just go out into the unmanifest. I mean, I suppose there are people who, that is what the goal is. But it is not, as Shivandu says many places, it is not embracing. While to bring that realization here and apply it here is where then you truly, uh, and then again, I always get reminded of Savitri, where like she says, like, I forget, it is in the, where she says, remember why I came, right? She says, what is the use of this, right? I can just go, Satyavana, and I can just go. We can just, be in our blissful abode. Why am I here? Why am I suffering? Why I have to go through all this pain? It's okay. Let me, I mean, she's already realized the self. Satyavana, I can just go in that unmanifested. We don't need this pain. And, remember why thy came. I mean, it's so beautiful, that one line. That is something we should all remember. Remember why we are here, right? It's something to tell ourselves every day.
Yeah, thank you. And you are absolute, like, I shouldn't say absolutely, but yeah, I mean, this is really important if we could constantly remind ourselves or ask ourselves, that why did I come? That really puts things in perspective and really helps one in, especially if one is down or, feeling lost or getting lost in everything and feeling out of center. Just this reminder that remember, why thou camest
Mm.
is very beautiful.
Yeah, maybe somebody can read this and we can close with this. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful. Maybe a little bit above you can start. I don't know. Because she troubled heart, right?
Hmm.
No, above it's because yes, I think when she questions, I think just that.
Is this enough, O
Is this
Spirit?
enough? Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. Maybe you can say. Let's start from there. The voice replied, "Is this enough, O Spirit?" Maybe somebody can read it. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, I'll read. The voice replied, "Is this enough, O Spirit? And what shall thy soul say when it wakes and knows the work was left undone for which it came? Or is this all for thy being born on earth, charged with the mandate from eternity, a listener to the voices of the years, a follower of the footprints of the gods, to pass and leave unchanged the old dusty laws? Shall there be no new tables, no new word, no greater light come down upon the earth, delivering her from her unconsciousness, man's spirit from unalterable fate? Camest thou not down to open the doors of fate, the iron doors that seemed forever closed, and lead man to truth's wide and golden road that run through finite things to eternity? Is this then the report that I must make, my head bowed with shame before the eternal seat? His power he kindled in the body has failed. His laborer returns, her task undone. Then Savitri's heart fell mute. It spoke no word, but holding back her troubled rebel heart, abrupt, erect and strong, calm like a hill, surmounting the seas of mortal ignorance, its peak immutable above mind's air. A power within her answered the still voice, I am thy portion here charged with thy work, as thou myself seated forever above. Speak to my depths, O great and deathless voice, command, for I am here to do thy will. And the voice replied, remember why thou camest. Find out thy soul, recover thy hid self, In silence, seek God's meaning in thy depths. Then mortal nature change to the divine. Open God's door, enter into his trance, cast thought from thee, that nimble ape of light. In his tremendous hush, stilling thy brain, his vast truth wake within and know and see. Cast from thee sense that veils thy spirit's sight in the enormous emptiness of thy mind. Thou shalt see the eternal body in the world, know him in every voice heard by thy soul. In the world's contacts, meet his single touch. All things shall fold thee into his embrace. So, although it's going further and further, but we'll stop here.
Very beautiful. Yeah, those 4 lines, that is something we should all, anytime we, and he says here, right, what you just read actually, Tarun, then mortal nature changed to the divine. He just said about renunciation, you can tie it all together on.
Yes. Thank you for reminding us of these lines. So we'll close the session here. If there's any reflection, any sharing, any afterthought, please do share it on the group so that we all can benefit. And yeah, as we close, thanking grace, thanking divine, thanking the so many blessings in our lives, so much to be grateful for. Let me not cry and complain about that 1, 2, 3 things that are not working out. Let me look at the 300,000 things that have been given to me, which I take as my entitlement, but it's not. Let me look at them, be grateful for them, and more grace will flow to and through me. So, praying for peace, for true joy, for truth to prevail in me, praying to be a better vessel, a wider, cleaner, emptier vessel, so that the truth can now dawn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.